Hello, welcome back to my review analysis for Absalom. This is for chapter 3. I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can. But the first thing I noticed is that there are no quotation marks. I don't know why that structure has changed, but it's another conversation between Quentin and his father, Mr. Compson. And we start off with learning about Miss Rosa's childhood and how her mother passed away after she died, or because she died. Because she was born. I'm sorry. And she resented her father because of that, and she was never allowed to forget about it. We also learn of the woman who raised her, which is her aunt, who has something against her brother or brother-in-law, her father, Rosa's father, Mr. Coldfield. And so this whole chapter, we go back and forth for a few main events, which is one is when Ellen passes away, and when Mr. Coldfield passes away, and then also when the aunt elopes and she leaves the family. But we learn how much Rosa has a lot of resentment towards these adults in her life. She is like, there's a tension between the women versus the men. The aunt doesn't get married or elopes until she's 35. So before that, I think there's a lot of resentment somewhere from there. She doesn't like Mr. Coldfield. She doesn't like Sutpin. And let's see. And yeah, so we are trying to get to the part of why the change of where Rosa changes her opinion towards Sutpin, because she first is traumatized by him. She calls him an ogre, and she's scared. She's a child going to her sister's brother's house or sister's house, and this scary man, she's pretty traumatized by him. But eventually she has a change of heart and agrees to marry him, which she doesn't, but she agrees, I guess. We don't get to that in this chapter, but we still see the different things going on first, how they visit the family sometimes, and then and when, as a child, when Rosa goes to visit her sister, she plays with her niece and nephew, because they're all around the same age. They're more older than her. And then she remembers the ogre-like man, the dad, the Sutpin man of her niece and nephew. And then it's guided by the aunt at that time. And when the aunt elopes and disappears, now the dad, and now Rosa's dad, Mr. Coldfield, wants to visit his grandchildren. And so her and the dad go visit Ellen and the grandkids, until suddenly Mr. Coldfield stops cold turkey, and he says it's because they don't care about him anymore. The children are getting older, and so he's like, okay, I'm done. And then we also get to understand how small Rosa feels compared to everyone, and we learn that Ellen is actually pretty full-bodied, and even the children are way bigger than Rosa. And then let's see. and then the beginning of when Rosa starts to change her mind and actually considers marrying Sutpin begins. And that event is when Charles Bond, who is Henry's friend from college, comes and becomes the fiance to Judith, which is Henry's sister, Ellen's daughter, Sutpin's daughter. And the war is starting, Lincoln's elected, and Sutpin goes to war. Mr. Coldfield secludes himself in the attic to avoid going to war, I believe. He's against it. He doesn't believe in violence. He's like a religious person, so it's against his beliefs. And and then Ellen dies. I forgot which goes first. Ellen dies or Mr. Coldfield dies, but those are other events that occur in this chapter, but it's all jumpy, it's all intertwined, so it's kind of confusing to keep track of which comes first. And so Ellen's dying words or wishes is for Rosa to protect Judith, who is older than Rosa. And the boys, Henry and Charles, are gone. They're nowhere to be found. I don't think they're at war. It says something like they're doing business with someone at college. So and then when Mr. Coldfield dies, or when he's secluded in the attic, Rosa still takes care of him. Now as the food is lowering because of the war, they don't have any food to spare, and she still takes care of him till the end, even though she hates him. And then he dies, and supposedly there were some food left for 3 days, so perhaps he starved himself. But he dies, and then she's left with nothing. He left her with nothing, so she needs to go find help, which is the only families left for her was Judith at the time. So yes, I think Ellen died first, and Ellen had asked Judith to protect, or no, Ellen had asked Rosa to protect Judith, but Rosa didn't go right away because she believed that Judith didn't need that protection compared to Rosa. Rosa is the younger one, and she is not married. She doesn't have marriage in the future as Judith, and Judith has still a plantation, and also she has another sister named Clytemnestra, who Sutpin had with his slave. And so yeah, Judith seems a bit more well off compared to Rosa. And then finally, when Mr. Coldfield dies, Rosa has nothing, so she goes to, I believe, goes to Judith. And that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah. So I'll continue to the next chapter. Thank you for watching.